Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, and hang on, it's going to start again. Stop that. Production screen already, Markus. First thing, I don't know why it shut off, but I'm sanding it out. Give me a second, everybody. I got to fix Marcus's camera here because it went away. It's way up high here. There we go. I have Markus and Amos with me today. Thank you all for joining us. It's not Saturday. I'm just used to saying that. It's supposed to be the Saturday show, but it's, what is this, Monday? Yeah, because Christmas. So this is Christmas Eve in Germany right now. Right, Markus?
Absolutely correct, John.
All right. Oh, and I have a double Markus in my shot, too. That's even better. Hang on a second.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, why is that? Boy, we're starting great with the show here.
It's Christmas.
Oh, I know why. It's because Amos isn't even on his camera. Starting with the great show. There we go. I don't know why that happened. Just fun times. There we go. There's Amos and Markus. Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Good morning, America.
Now we can start this. And to all of you that don't have anything to do today to join us at 10 a.m. on a Monday, I feel for you. Thank you for being here. We have Charles and Oz and Schultze and Kittens and Juliet Nickel. Hi there. And Pat Hacker. Wow. These people I haven't seen in a while. Kendra, how are you? Well, Christmas Eve in Germany over there. How's that going?
It is going quite good so far. You know, we just started the show, and yeah, I think it's one highlight of the evening. And later I will meet my aunt and my uncle, and we will have a nice Christmas dinner and a little bit family. And yeah, I think the usual stuff.
Great. Good for you. Good for you. Amos, what are you doing today after this? You got a place to go?
I belong to the Orphans and Jews group, so...
All right. So not doing anything, just hanging out with friends?
Not anything particular today, but...
All right. Well, you can Hanukkah, whatever. All right. Well, you should go. I hope you eat some Christmas food somewhere with somebody. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
okay. Take advantage of that. It's going to be there.
Absolutely.
Good. And I hope everybody out there has somewhere to go and someplace to be other than with us. This is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. So find somewhere else to go later. I mean, really, Americans or wherever you are. Do we have anybody from another country, any other countries today? We have any visiting Germans or guests from abroad? Please mention.
Not to my knowledge so far, yeah.
All right. Here
What
you
I
go.
can see in chat.
Trisha. Yeah, let us know, because we got some interesting stuff to talk about. We got stuff going on in Europe there. We'll talk about the yellow vests. There's some changes there. Markus noticed. Actually, we noticed them before, but we didn't really get to talk about them as much during the show with Roman Light, and so we'll get more into that. Cover card. Oh, it started again. Ha! Shut up. And turn it off. It has FDR has a mind of his own. He always has since we installed him here. Cover card courtesy of Otto, who did the designs for Melania in the White House. Always very frightening and perfect for a Star Trek set from the 60s. I don't have much to go into right now. Just going to put Amos on, who's going to talk about Bernie Sanders and what's going on with Bernie, because it is a redo of 2015. So somebody should start an independent network to help Bernie. Wait a minute, we did that. Amos, tell us all about what's up with Bernie Sanders, man.
All right. Well, so basically, we've seen a couple of articles, especially in the New York Times, where they restarted the myth of the Bernie bro pretty much. And if you want, there's a slide of that article.
Of course.
Basically, unfortunately, it's a replay of how he's being treated, and there's been an article about his meeting with Elizabeth Warren, which was made a big deal out of. Really didn't need to be. There wasn't much of substance there, but they wanted to blow it up. Here, that's the name of the article, is Sanders and Warren Meet and Agree. They both are probably running. And I took a couple of excerpts where they made references to Bernie Sanders. They're claiming, okay, there we go. So Mr. Sanders dismissed questions Thursday in the Capitol about the meeting, asking why a reporter was not asking about his successful push to have the Senate pass a symbolic resolution withdrawing United States support for Saudi Arabia military campaign in Yemen. And the Vermont senator flashed irritation when he was asked about it during an interview with MSNBC. So what I found hilarious is the symbolic part, because he's really, with this bill, he's launched an effort to return Congress into making decisions about war in general, which is a really great leap from where it's been in the last few years. And it's getting some traction on both sides of the aisle. And to call it symbolic is kind of silly. Even if the president vetoes it, it's far from symbolic. The other thing is they said, they made this claim here, but he has done little to broaden his political circle and has struggled to expand his appeal beyond his base of primary white supporters.
Yeah, they keep pushing that white supporter bullshit.
Yeah,
but aside from the fact that it's not true, and if you pull the next slide, there's been polls and surveys about it.
Well, the polls aren't true unless they're the right polls. We know that, Amos.
Right? But they've actually looked at this, and the Harvard-Harris survey in particular has established that this was the demographic breakdown of his current support. As if you can see, whites are the least of his support. So it's they got the entire thing wrong. Basically, women are 58%, African Americans are 73%, Hispanic are 68%, and Asian Americans are 62%. Men are slightly less than women, so this whole Bernie bro white guy supporter is a complete myth. And this is not the only survey that's been conducted. There's been another as well.
Right. Just narrative. And we have to fight that narrative because we're fighting a giant megaphone of MSM narrative, right?
Yeah. And there's another slide there of Bernie Sanders viewed positively by 57% of registered voters, which is quite amazing in today's politics. As we know, the president is hovering around 40%, which is surprisingly high, all things considered. But that he's dwarfed by the general support that Bernie is currently having. So,
well, we've also seen that with regard to polls and what the populace actually likes, that nobody seems to care. Right? And I say nobody meaning like the people in power or MSM, if they're even, 70% of the populace wants Medicare for all, and Democrats are fighting vehemently against Medicare for all. Right? So
it's mixed, I think, but there's no consensus for sure in the Democratic Party yet about that.
But with Bernie, again, he's not a Democrat, so let's just toss him out right there.
Yeah.
That didn't work for him last time. And, they're going to do this time. What? We know the truth. Do you think this affects, if he's going to run? Do you think it matters if Warren runs against Bernie? And do you think that matters?
If it matters if somebody runs against him?
Well, tons of people. We're probably going to have 40 people running for the Democratic
Yes,
Party primary.
there's going to be a very I think it's kind of interesting to see that he's not being portrayed as the front runner, where he obviously is. He has the entire infrastructure from 2016 already in place, ready to go, with databases of voter records and so forth, and to not think that has a huge impact on the primaries is a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I hope the progressive movement that existed in 2016 shows up again for 2020, because I don't know what happened to y'all in Oregon. Anyway, just saying.
Yeah.
Kind of disbanded, went your own way, stopped communicating. I hope we can build a better communications hub with the movement for 2020, because that is still seriously lacking. And I'm speaking to you, large organizations with the resources and abilities to actually make us work together as a coalition. Do it, Anyway, what are your other thoughts on this, Amos? Or you want to move into the immigration?
I'll move on to the immigration. I was shocked last week. There was a piece of news that really took me by surprise, and even in this administration, it's just like unbelievable. There's been reports that the border patrol along the border has now taken on to numbering people's arms. I don't know who in this administration thought that this was a good idea.
I do. You don't?
I mean, just the images that it conjures, where it's like goes directly to the numbering of the tattooing of people's arms in the Holocaust by the Nazis is just so visceral. It's just unbelievable that they would go that route.
You know what else?
Just completely clueless.
They've killed people like the Nazis. I mean, not at the same level of efficiency, but just due to lack of care. Numbers are one thing, and it's horrific. But Border Patrol has killed people. ICE has killed people, raped people. We've got reports of sexual abuse. And we've got a government that doesn't seem to give a shit, right?
More than that, it's the conditions in these places are atrocious, and there've been a few congressmen that went down there to see for themselves, and they were shocked by the conditions that these people are held in.
Yeah,
and that's not something that the American public really focuses on much, but it's very troubling.
Agreed.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. What do you? I mean, obvious, Markus.
Well, what can I say about this? It is the parallels are obvious. And
it's frightening.
It is absolutely. Yeah.
Our tent city is full. Our concentration tent camp is full of 15,000 immigrants.
15,000 children in custody right now. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better.
No.
So, what can we say? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. Just imagine the what kind of anguish these kids are going through in during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, during Christmas Day, to be without their parents in prison, basically, for nothing, no fault of their own.
Right.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
It's barbaric to say it like this. It's barbaric.
America's barbaric. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. So we have another topic that I just wanted to touch on.
You're really going to go from, we really shouldn't have put this right next to this.
The next topic I wanted to mention was the New Jersey attempt to redo the rules for gerrymandering.
You're going to talk about it anyway that we're not a picture? All right. Tell everybody tell everybody.
No, we got a slide.
Oh, we had a slide for the gerrymander?
Yes.
Yeah. Yay.
Slide 15, please.
15.
unrehearsed today.
Oh,
So,
it's after the zoology. I see what you did.
yeah, it's a little bit out of order, but
Uh-huh.
I'm going to touch this now first. And basically, it's come to the state where the New Jersey legislature was trying to redo the redistricting for the upcoming 10 years, and their natural approach, led by Sweeney, who is a Gloucester Democrat, that kind of like a centrist, very corporate-based Democrat. He is attempted to push for basically rules that would be based on the 15 last years of voting records and favor Democrats, basically institutionally. There's been a lot of outcry from progressive organizations, the Citizens Action Committee and so forth, and who backed our current governor, Phil Murphy.
Wasn't Phil supposed to be better?
Phil, so far, Phil's been very progressive in many areas.
I mean,
He's
it's
trying
hard to get worse than Chris, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, but he's also in the range of Democrats in the field. He's been pushing $15 minimum wage. He's been pushing for recreational marijuana laws.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's been very so far so good. So he's been in a battle with Sweeney about this, and they managed with the help of these progressives and activists, they managed to change the rules to more equitable and good policy rules, which I'm proud for as a New Jersey.
So they fixed this gerrymandering thing you're saying, or is this just another issue?
Yes, they're working on doing a much more fair system that would not necessarily benefit Democrats or Republicans, but be more,
Well, that's nice.
objective, so to speak.
Well, this map just hurts your eyes. So let's hope when they redo it, we'll find a better one. That's what block colors look like when they come through a screen. Everybody, ouch. But thank you for finding a.
That was the proposed. Are those
the
map.
new districts?
No, I believe that's the proposed districts that were. If I'm not mistaken, that was what they wanted to do, but
is this the bad one or the good one? I can't even tell.
I believe that's the bad one.
Oh, okay. I mean, it looks like fairly regular blobs together. So I can't. I hope. I hope the good one looks better then. We know that regardless of what it looks like on the map, the point is that they're drawn all screwed so that it really hurts, people's chances of getting elected, right? So
It also could be a Rorschach test.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking, drop a few hits. That'll look really cool. Anyway, thank you for reporting on that, Amos.
And then we have the light touch of the day for Christmas. We found out that there was, and we're turning to zoology, which is usually not a field that we discuss in this show.
Rarely.
It was
Who says?
It was a scientist who purchased the rights to name an animal that was discovered, which is an amphibian a worm-like amphibian that buries its head in the sand. And he named it after Trump. I think it's very, very appropriate. And the idea was that similarly to Trump, he buries his head in the sand. Here it says, Bell is the scientist that named it, that bought the name. It is a perfect name. Cacalian is taken from Latin cacus, meaning blind, perfectly mirroring the strategic vision President Trump has consistently shown toward climate change.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very fitting.
And its full name is Dermophis Donald Trumpi. Very nice.
Yes.
Let's get the full Latin in there. Dermophis. I didn't realize the scientist, that's even better about human beings, that he purchased the right to name the animal. That's even better.
Yeah, they spent $25,000, I think.
My God. And what institution charges to who? How does that work? I just think that's crazy.
I don't think that it is an official amount they have to pay. I think that it is a private expenditure from Mr. Bell, I guess. Because it would look strange when they have to open the books, to the IRS,
Well, somebody gets that money. It's probably a tax write-off. Is it,
or maybe for advertisement purposes, that to make them more prominent.
Could you imagine that? It's the Xerox worm. I mean, you'd get corporations buying names for the Ferret by Goodyear. I mean, who knows what you'd get? Anyway, I think that's a great idea. The fact that we allow people to purchase names for things, I love that. So, way to go.
That's not the first time
I know.
creature was named after a politician. I think there's a Lamar Alexander butterfly or something.
Oh yeah,
like that.
No, there's a bunch of them. There's been a bunch. I just didn't realize that we paid for. People like whoever discovers it is like, I'm going to be cool and name it this. I thought you just got naming rights because you discovered it, but maybe they sold off the naming rights, right?
Yeah, it's probably an auctioned name or something. I'm not sure.
It's a worm. I mean, whatever.
It was an auction. Yes, he won an auction. Yeah.
I do want to remind everybody though that we're in the middle of the 6th great extinction, so new species probably going to go down. We're going to have a lot less to name, and we're going to be left with the Donald Trump worm and other species.
It's actually probably likely to survive more than some others. Yeah.
Just like the 1% and climate change, everybody. So very appropriate. Very appropriate. Oh, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't even talk about my coat because we had the technical problems at the beginning. But this is a gift from my non-technical mother-in-law, Lori's mom. And it does come with a cat tie. It's if you can't tell, it's cats. It's cats and
Christmas
cats with LED lights. I wore the jacket. Maybe I'll bring it to Germany. I don't know. For Carnival.
For Carnival. Yeah, nice idea for Carnival. Yeah.
And there's a tie and pants. I didn't wear the pants, but I thought I'd go with the France shirt. I thought that worked well. Larry got me this when he was in France, and we'll be talking about them again because of the yellow vests. I bought.
Are you celebrating the Catholic Christmas?
I'm celebrating the non-denominational holiday that Americans made up so that we could give shit to each other and take a couple days off. Called Christmas. That's what I'm calling in. And I hate to say it, I like doing that stuff now. I don't care where the tradition came from or how bullshit it is, and the fact that Christians co-opted pagan stuff and rearranged history to make it. It's human culture. It's what we do. Look at the goddamn music that they made when you crisscrossed Polish music and Mexican mariachi. I mean, that shit's insane, but it's kind of cool. Right? So, here we are with this co-opted, pagan holiday on a date that isn't even the date that a mystical person was supposedly born, and we know this by star charts. That's science again. But, that's all right.
It's like dining in a Chino-Latina restaurant.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about culture and how we feel good. And I'm the one baking stuff and making dinner, and we've got a fake tree, and which is one of those. Do you cut down a real tree because Christmas, or do you use a fake tree that's plastic because Christmas? Which one's better for the environment? See, it's one of those washouts. You just be a consumer. Realize climate change is real. We're going to die soon, and enjoy these next 2 days for whatever reason you have, because we're going to have less of them soon. That's about it. Like the folks that had to deal with the tsunami in Indonesia. Right? I mean, that's some reality right there.
Yeah, and I can absolutely share what you said, and I also celebrate the same kind of Christmas as you do, and also my Christmas decoration is well, it is.
Oh yeah,
not that it is not that much what I chose to do this year, and yeah.
But all right. So everybody see in the background there? That's the Easter bunny brought out for Christmas, which I just realized is like the wrong holiday, but whatever. Do you celebrate the German Easter bunny at Christmas?
Why not? You know, because I'm unconventional, as I found out lately. You know, at a certain occasion, and so I said, okay, if I'm so unconventional, so I gotta put the Christmas bunny, no, the Easter bunny in the room today, and having fun with it. And I have.
And it's called the Weihnachten Hase.
The Weihnachtshase, right? Yeah, the Christmas bunny. Yeah.
So I wasn't even thinking about the fact that it's a completely different holiday. That's insane.
Not? Yeah. It's a complete different holiday.
For us, Easter's, spring. Whatever, it's Easter.
Spring, yeah.
Esther, right? Esther, that pagan shit again.
Ostern, yeah. Another pagan, yeah.
But I just want to point out to everybody in the suburban white world of America, I don't know what you grew up with for an Easter bunny, but if you look at that one back there, it kind of looks like a transient, right? Just like an immigrant dude with a backpack full of stuff. I don't know.
This is a nice association.
Well, I'm just trying to be American about it, and
you are.
I grew up with the Easter bunny that I know is tall and white and creepy, and usually has some drunk dude in it in a suit that was somebody from the church, and we don't know who it was. But that's the Catholic Easter bunny, and I don't know what this shit is over there in Germany, but that's creepy.
Well, it's okay. We will talk about this when you're here in Germany, but I think it is not the right place to discuss this right now.
Because there's nothing creepy about Roman Catholic stuff.
No, there's nothing creepy about Easter bunnies. I guess I like them.
The whole fact that we stuck the Easter bunny and made it religious is just unbelievable. Even as a kid, I didn't even ask. You know why? Because you're given a shitload of candy. That's the answer. It's like, this makes no sense. Shut up and eat your chocolate. The chocolate bunny.
It's a little Christmas. It's a little Christmas, Eat
your fucking chocolate bunny and shut up. Yeah, bite his head off. Shut up, John. Doesn't matter. Jesus wasn't a bunny, okay? Just fucking do it. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I realize, I'm sorry. Charles says, Holly says, no, I can't talk about we're all going to die today. Okay. We're not going to all die today. Later. Is that better? That's my message of hope.
Come on, guys. We should have a couple of days left.
We're going to die later, everybody.
Why are you in a hurry?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, happy holidays.
And what was my other hobby? Yeah, fuck you. Right?
Yeah, the F-bomb show.
Yeah. He's an asylum seeker. That's right, kittens. That's what your bunny is. He's an asylum seeker with a backpack full of egg bombs.
No, there are no egg bombs. Of course not. Not that the police is standing at my door, as you mentioned it.
Well, can't have that happen. And there's no yellow vests in Germany, but we'll get to that. All right. Moving on from that.
Yeah, coming to not so pleasant news.
Yeah, we got to talk about this because, while the Easter bunny may be made up stuff from whatever religion or cult, tsunamis are not made up, and there just was one, and it really messed things up. And they didn't have early warning, and I don't know why. Amos says they don't have the right setup. I didn't see the whole story on this. If you're not aware of what's going on there, it's pretty horrific. And we've got a video. This is basically rubbernecking, honestly, but I want you to watch this video because this is what climate change is to the human species. It's a nice little metaphor here in a 50-second video of we're not paying attention and we're not doing what we need to do to save our species. And there's more than 300 people that have been killed from this so far. The destruction is just insane, and this is not climate change. This is normal climate. This is this stuff, the natural disasters we have to deal with on a regular basis from Earth, and we don't even have adequate systems to deal with these. You know what I mean? That's frightening.
You can put it like this: so the climate crisis is the cream on the cake of what you can see here. This is a Krakatau. This is what is supposedly caused the massive tsunami.
Right. Just regular old stuff.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's not caused by climate change.
No.
We don't know if at all there is any effect on that, but it's not caused by climate change. The real story here is that we're failing to protect these places through early warning systems
Right.
and stuff. They have an early warning system that mostly doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang on, everybody. Hang on. Stop. Everybody in the chat. I did not say this was caused by climate change. I said we're ignoring our regular natural disasters. We're also ignoring climate change. And if we can't even address our regular natural disasters, we're fucked on climate change. Well aware that this is not caused by climate change. So are scientists. Scientists are also well aware that nobody gives a fuck about climate change or that this happened. So I got it. Let's not all get all cited there. I get it. I'm not stupid. All right. The problem is that our government is. Our governments across the nation.
That's the problems, you know. We can of course not handle natural disasters when they come up, you know. It is impossible for us. We are only humans.
Right.
But at least we should have the self-awareness and the logic, you know, to fight what threatens us and what we can do against. And this is a climate crisis, you know. And so I say that the climate crisis can be considered only as the cream on the cake, you know, in a cynical way, on what is happening with natural disasters on another level.
Yep.
I'm not arguing with chat, and yeah, you're right. I'm just making sure I clarify. I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that caused by climate change. All right, let's not. I just don't want to confuse the facts there. That's all. All right. So, all right. Yeah, and it makes us all angry and upset because we're seeing people get killed. We're seeing inaction. Right. Nobody wants to see this devastation. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? For those folks.
Yeah.
I think that's what bothers me the most about this.
Yeah. And there was in all this tragedy, with now I think nearly 400 people dead. We also had another incident where it was filmed live, John.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the footage that everybody's talking about. If you haven't seen this is the tsunami footage. Some band is playing a concert, and we're just going to run the last few seconds of it. They have no warning. They have no idea this is going on.
Yeah, from 1 second to the other, you know, lives are taken. You know, the band, I think they are called 17, lost 2 band members, and. Yeah, it can go like this, you know, and we should not waste a single day, you know, and this concerns climate crisis, you know. We should fight to do whatever we can.
Exactly. Here's the clip.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, you said 2 members of the band were killed in that, Markus?
Yeah. The bass player and I think the manager, and I think he was also the drummer. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, it's a tragic. And these are only two people of nearly 400 now, you know, and you cannot imagine what the people must suffer now there. And yeah. And we're doing nothing, you know. As you said, you know, the warning systems seem to have failed, you know. And of course, there is no interest from the rich countries to invest in this because, you know, those people don't have a value. I say this drastically. For capitalism, those people don't have a value to invest in warning systems. It is like it is, you know. And this makes me fucking angry.
Yeah. I know you guys are cracking some jokes too. It's hard. It's hard to go back and forth. Yeah. It's this. Look, what we're talking about here and what we're dealing with this show is the same stuff we started years ago with, you know, just conversational therapy for the revolution. It's really hard to deal with the bounce back between, you know, trying to live a life and have moments of joy and be a normal human being, and recognizing the collapse of our society and the impending, end of our species. There's somewhere in there we're supposed to find a balance. We know what's really wrong is that we should all be working every day 100% on fixing these problems. But we can't, because we're trapped in this wheel of work. Right? We have to survive, and then whatever time we have left, somewhere in that time when we're not working, we're supposed to enjoy a life and then focus on the end of our species or whatever issue is brought up to us. It's really difficult. Right? The term black humor, it's really what we deal with all the time now. Right? Even on Christmas. It's hard not to. No. It's really hard not to. Staying on climate a little bit. All right. I just want to cover Oregon because you guys saw that the Dems are killing AOC's Green New Deal, and they're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Remember, this was just a committee that was going to have no power at all, and we can't even get the Dems to agree to that. We can't even get the Dems to agree that climate change is an issue and that we need to do something about it right now. In Oregon, just a big shout out to that climate champion, Pete DeFazio, who has been a ranking member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee as our U.S. rep. And, he touts a great record. But really, Pete, what have you done with climate change in Oregon? Nothing. You've done nothing. You've taken a lot of money from Delta, Berkshire Hathaway, many other transportation and labor and construction related industries. Those are your top three sectors: transportation, labor, and construction. You are loaded, Pete DeFazio, and all three of those industries rely on fossil fuels. I'm surprised they haven't renamed Delta Airlines DeFazio Airlines. Why haven't you worked with Delta to have them be the first airline running on green fuel provided by wood pulp out of Oregon's forests? Because that's actually something that you could do. But no, you would rather just take a shitload of money from them and fail. Kate Brown, Oregon's not really progressive governor that we all voted for because she was better than Newt. Kind of like the Doug Jones problem, right? Or the Beto problem, right? He's Obama, which makes him better than Cruz. We'll talk about that more. Here's the stats. This is the chart that matters the most. So every Oregonian needs to ask themselves, when you talk about your Democratic Party, when you talk about how progressive you think Oregon Dems are and how progressive you think the state of Oregon is, take a look at this chart and realize you're wrong. We have an Oregon Democratic Party that is owned and controlled by the fossil fuel industry, just like in Colorado and just like every other fucking state in this country. Except Oregon does a nice facade of progressivism and looking like we have a Dem party that gives a shit. But if that Dem party that's had control for years actually gave a shit, we would have a Green New Deal in Oregon. We would have had a Green New Deal in Oregon years ago. But they're all bullshit Dems. They all take money from the fossil fuel industry or some subsidiary of, and this is their record. This is your record on climate change, Pete DeFazio, Jeff Merkley. This is your record, Kate Brown. Not any shit come out of your mouth. This right here, this chart, this is your record. This is what we have to claim, that instead of going down, we've gone up, which is basically what this one shows. Transportation industry. The amount of CO2 being dumped into the air. 21, 23, 24, 25, 23, 22, 22, 21, 21, 23, 24. We're back up to 25. In 2017, everybody, we've gone nowhere.
Yep.
Good job, Pete DeFazio. That's your realm, man. That's your watch, Pete DeFazio. Where the fuck have you been? Lying to AOC? Yeah. Oregon Dems are not anywhere near the Dems they claim to be. Yet the Oregon Dems that vote for them, the constituents seem to think they're great. Pull your heads out of your ass. We can do better. Stop supporting people like Pete DeFazio, because Pete DeFazio isn't going to do shit for the environment. If he was, he would have done it already. Same with Kate Brown. Same with Jeff Merkley. Same with Walden. Can we demand more of them instead of trying to make peace? You know, they work for us, Oregon. Find your spine. Find your spine. If there's a state in this nation that should be leading the way in environment, it is Oregon. I'm embarrassed that the state is just owned by the fossil fuel industry like Colorado. It's really sad. The two states that I love the most. Anyway, you did all those slides, Marcus. That's all I really wanted to say about it.
Yeah, it's absolutely all right. I just wanted to be prepared, John.
Just know that Marcus made 20 slides from that article, and I used 2. So thank you, Marcus, for that. Really appreciate that. Hi, everybody joining us. Hey, Natural Progressive. Sorry we didn't reach out to you earlier. You could have been on and talked, and I apologize. I hope you're having a good Christmas wherever you are. Same with everybody else in the Uphill Media family. I know Laura Livengood is with her fam this morning, and Pat Cody is off with his probably. And
Laura was or isn't chat?
I don't know. She was or is?
She was. At least she was.
Oh, good. Glad you like the jacket. Just like the jacket. I do love Colorado. I wasn't born in Colorado. I was born in Virginia. I lived in Colorado from 1976 to 1998. That was where I grew up. My 80s, my teen years, my youth was in Colorado. Right? And it used to be colorful Colorado. Now it's Frackland, Colorado. They've really destroyed that state, and I'm really pissed. You know, there's fracking wells not, a couple hundred feet from my dad. And that's just disgusting. The Democrats in Colorado, you're as shitty as the Democrats in Oregon. Just bullshit Dems. Bullshit. Yeah. Steamboat may still be beautiful if it's not completely overrun by tourism, and it was overrun by tourism when I was there. So, but yeah, I'm not saying there's not some beautiful places left. It's packed with wells. And they're going to have some problems with groundwater. Not already. And air and all the stuff that fossil fuels do to our environment, right? But we're going to move on from the destruction of our environment just briefly to talk about Beto.
Oh, the Christmas message. Nice.
Well, the Christmas message?
Yeah, from Pat.
Oh, is that this one? I don't even know which one I have.
The Christmas tweet, yeah, about Beto.
Was this his Christmas? So, Beto O'Rourke is tied in with this whole thing because while we've been Bernie bashing, we've been told that it's not okay to Beto bash because Beto is the new Obama. Actually, calling him the new Obama is what David Sirota did, and he wrote this article. He's getting destroyed in Twitter by a bunch of centrists. How dare you attack the Obama, right? How dare you? It's crazy. This is Pat the Burner, who we all know is Peter Douche liaison, Peter Douche. And this is his quote about Beto. And one of his many quotes, he's been destroying Beto in tweets. Says, I'm torn. Do I think Beto's awful? Mostly because he voted to deregulate the banks, voted to fast-track the TPP, fawns over AIPAC, doesn't really support Medicare for all, or is backed by trash think tanks like CAP. Or could it just be that he's a centrist piece of shit? I'm going with centrist piece of shit. Either way, thank you, Pat, for laying it down correctly. Beto was better than Ted Cruz, but is as effective as Doug Jones.
Yeah.
Right?
In the end.
Yeah. But and this is the tie-in here, right? Is that when David Sirota's got a name, and when he starts calling out the centrism in the world, he gets attacked. He's getting beat up for attacking the Obama, because in this article he wrote, Beto is the new Obama, and that's the last thing we need, which is very true, right? Climate change, and this is Dave's quote, climate change has been likened to a meteor headed toward the Earth. The fact that anyone who voted to boost oil production can still be considered a legit presidential candidate is like a sci-fi satire movie where a politician can be explicitly pro-meteor and still be seen as legit. And that's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
That's our president of the United States standing there going, yeah, I know we can see the meteor coming, but I'm all for more meteors. Right? It's unbelievable, the denial. And it should be that any person in our government that denies climate change shouldn't be considered a person in our government. Right? But we've done a good job anti-educating our people to make that happen.
What can you expect from a guy who is looking at the eclipse straight into the sun, right?
Oh, come on, we all peaked, right?
No, we didn't. We had ash.
That's true. We had ash and several pairs of glasses. He has a gut feeling about climate change. I have a gut feeling about the human species.
Yeah, exactly.
You ready to talk about Spiegel fraud?
We can go over to the Spiegel fraud, yes. And yeah, this happened last week in Germany when suddenly a message popped up in the Spiegel online news where they accused themselves of having delivered fake news and made up stories. To be precise, there was one journalist and he got some awards for his journalism in the past, and he made up stories and completely invented things, and presented them in Der Spiegel in several articles, and it came up. And of course, it did not came up by the house itself in the first place. No, he had for some articles he had a co-author, and the name of the co-author is Juan Moreno, and he noticed that there were some strange things going on in the reports, and he also contacted the people at the place. For example, in one story at Jäger's border, he was referring to a militant group which is protecting the borders, and it was a complete made up story. And he flew over there on course because he could not convince anyone at the Spiegel that there is something strange with the story, and they should better be careful about it. He did not get the support he would need for this, so he invested his own money, flew over there and talked to the people. And he found out that there's already a group of people who got knowledge of the article and who did the research on themselves. And then in the end it came out. He presented all the proofs he collected, and so the Spiegel had to clarify this, and it is not a good story for the Spiegel itself, because everyone is asking, don't they check stories from journalists, and this is a question which rightfully is raised in this case. I think they got blinded by the reputation of the author of what was his name, of Klaas Relocius, who, as I said, is an award-winning journalist. These awards he has to give back. There's also a threat that he got sued by Der Spiegel, because it seems that he called up for donations for a certain story, and it seems that this money went to his own account, and also not a good picture that he leaves in the end. So
it's a Trump operation.
It's a Trump operation. Yes. Good one. Yeah. You can see not a fortunate story for Der Spiegel, and at least they are trying to clarify things, and hopefully they will be more careful in the future.
Well, okay. So a couple things. It's not a Trump operation in one critical aspect, and that is that Der Spiegel is admitting wrong. Okay.
Yeah. So I think they are really trying to bring all the facts on the table, and it hurts the Spiegel badly.
Sure, it has. It should hurt CNN as well, but it won't, right? CNN named this guy their 2014 Journalist of the Year, so, which he probably still is. Well, this makes you even better. It's interesting how. So do you think this is going to, in terms of German popularity, this is going to destroy the mag or hurt it big time? Or?
I don't think that it would destroy the magazine. If you go back into the 80s, where there was another big scandal about German journalism, in this case it was Der Stern who came up with the Hitler diaries.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Those from you who remember this, it was a very big scandal because it was not. Der Stern discovered this not themselves itself. There were another investigators who brought up the story, and the Spiegel, Der Stern looked very, very silly at this moment because they believed until the end that the Hitler diaries were real. But if you looked at the content, it was pretty funny in the end. And anyway, the Spiegel, I hope, because I like the magazine, though I'm in parts a skeptic about it, as you should, as everyone should be with news. It is, in my opinion, one of the trustworthy sources in Germany. Up to a certain point.
I agree, and they make good covers. I mean, they're like Time, as far as I'm concerned. I got 4 of their covers, so I hope their journalism stays decent. I mean, again, like the Guardian, but probably I hope they get better. Is Der Spiegel owned by big corporations, or are they owned by one of the giant conglomerates? In the end,
this is a good question. I know that the founder of Der Spiegel is Jakob Augstein. And he is not amused by this, but he wrote a message that he said he would not act differently in this case, bringing all the facts on the table and to tell the public what happened, and how could it come so far, And I think this is the only policy which could help Der Spiegel, to come halfway out of this affair.
Agreed. Just a Guardian, you could do the same.
Yeah, and of course, Klaas Relotius was fired on the at the place.
Right. What's the Tucker Carlson slide in here with this? Why?
Yeah, hold on. There you're too far already.
I went too far. My goodness.
You went too far, and you brought up a tweet by John Cleese, who is commenting this.
Where is it? I deleted it. Oh, there it is.
Inside. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
There it is. Yeah. This is how I found out. I saw John Cleese. I was like, oh, really? Holy shit.
Yeah. This is how John Cleese sees it. Der Spiegel has sacked one of its journalists for making up stories. I guess that must be an offense in Germany. Yes, it is. It is in Germany. It is in the end.
Yeah. Not here.
Yes, and we also got another reaction coming from, I call him the American ambassador of Germany.
Okay.
This is Richard Grinnell, who wrote a letter to Der Spiegel. You can show the first slide, please. Yeah, he addresses this letter to a certain Mr. Klusman. You got to know that Mr. Klusman is absolutely not in charge of this because he will start his job on January the 1st, 2019.
He's a new hire.
This is the first. Lapsus from Richard Grinnell, who also seems not to be the brightest candle on the Christmas tree.
And again, Grinnell is the American ambassador to Germany, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So that's what we're talking. Go carry on.
Yes. All right. And he goes very hard into it. He says that the constant reporting of Der Spiegel is very anti-American, and it got even worse since Trump is in office, and they should stop this, and they should do a better research. And he goes on the second page of his letter, we ask that a thorough investigation be conducted by an outside independent organization. And there came into my mind who, you see it on side 41, you're talking about Fox, Dickie.
You want Carl?
He would.
You want him to?
He would be the independent organization, the guy from the independent organization who could do the research for Der Spiegel. Because Richard Grinnell is known at Fox News for whining there, and I think he has the Fox News in mind. And of course it's a joke.
Hey, Dennis from Germany. Dennis is in the chat, and he says that that Der Spiegel is owned by one of the 5 German families that own media or something like that. So
I was not sure if they brought out stocks, but it is of course one of those.
Apparently so.
Well, the reaction to close this is from the Spiegel, is from the guy who was indeed in charge, and this is Dirk Kurpjuweit, and he of course apologizes, and he clarifies that Steffen Klusman is not in charge of this all, and he apologizes to the Americans who were hurt by the story, and he says, and I quote this, "I would, however, like to counter you on one point. When we criticize the American president, this does not amount to anti-American bias. It is criticism of the policies of the men currently in the office in the White House. Anti-Americanism is deeply alien to me, and I'm absolutely aware of what Germany has the US to thank." And I think this is the only reasonable answer to Richard Grenell.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, this is the Spiegel fraud, and we will see what more comes out, what other stories are fake. There are a couple already, and yeah.
I mean, geez. Comparatively, compared to American MSM and the shit they spew, this is nothing. It really is nothing. They found one bad apple and they got rid of him. Hey, police, just a thought. Although, a bad apple ruins the bunch, they say. So now we got to investigate the whole bunch. Anyway, we'll see. I'm glad Der Spiegel took the right move there. And it's unfortunate because the journalist that they're talking about, he wrote stories about Trump supporters on the Trump campaign, and he made up stuff, which I don't even know why he needed to do that. I mean, just reporting on the way they are, good enough.
It is worse enough already. He should only tell the truth,
Just take pictures and record what they say. It's good, really. You didn't need to make up the rest. And apparently that. So now that legitimizes their claims, and it sucks. It sucks. And yes, Schultze, John Cleese. I used to be the voice that told me how to get around. He tells your dad how to get around. John Cleese does a nice voice for driving directions on a TomTom. Yeah. It's very fun. John Cleese would make a great president. Anybody. The Worm. Anyway.
John Cleese and the Worm.
There you go. It sounds like a new children's book. Although
it's actually an amphibian, just to be it's not a worm, but it's an amphibian.
Yes, and this species is also endangered by the climate crisis. So, if you want to have the Trump worm to go on living, then fight against climate crisis.
Don't give us that choice.
Okay, of course there are more reasons,
Thank you. Yeah. What, Schultze? No, is that a video? What are you talking about? Anyway, moving on. We're almost done. Thank you for that coverage, Markus, on Der Spiegel.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Oh, we want to talk about the yellow vest. All right, let's get this through quick. Let's not be all detailed about it. We got 2 slides.
Yeah, I'm not going into details. We should start with slide 45 because I think it's quite appropriate from the latest developments around Roman Light. You can see him in the corner. He's shooting a gun, and I think...
You added that? I didn't even see that.
I did this. I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. Why I was skeptic at the beginning about Roman Light and the movement. On Monday we had a very long discussion about it. In parts it was a heated discussion, and this came not out on the Wednesday show. There we did not go into the details, and the details showed up a couple of days later when we found a tweet coming from Roman Light, where he addresses exactly what's going on there. And you can put it large, please, because we have to explain this. There you can see nationalism is kicking globalism's ass.
I love globalism is Macron, right? Isn't that Macron with it?
No, hold on. Wait. And it is titled The Great Awakening. And this is exactly the point where Roman Light and I completely disagreed, because the kind of globalism we know is, of course, not what we would like to see in the future, but we need to work together on a global base. And there is no way to go back into nationalism, especially as a European. He should know better, because we know from the nationalisms over centuries where it led. We had constant wars, etc. And it is stupid to think to go back into this, and we should work together, especially what the climate crisis concerns. We only can work together, and there it absolutely makes no sense to go back behind borders or to fight a nationalistic idea. I completely disagree with this. And if you look even closer at the picture, look at the how the globalism, how the guy was painted. As a German, for me, it gave me a very uneasy feeling of what we know happened in the 30s when the Nazis took over, and how they discredited the Jews. And you can see the same motivation behind. They're using the red picture, to discredit globalism, and to point it out as an enemy. It is, in my opinion, it is a racist cartoon. I checked out who did this cartoon. Ben Garrison, I found out, is very, very tightly connected to the white supremacist scene and to the right-wingers. And to quote this, that this is coming from Roman Light, in my opinion, discredits complete his efforts, because it seems, in my opinion, it goes into the nationalistic, into the fascist direction, and this is not what we need in these times. And I'm very unhappy that we did not come to this on our Wednesday shows, because I think this would be the very interesting point about this and about my skepticism about this movement. Of course, they are not all of this, but I'm addressing the interview partner Roman Light, who made up, who came up with big plans, with big words, etc. But in my opinion, it's coming from the complete wrong corner.
Well, and so you talked about the more heated discussion we'd had in the green room on Monday, and the nationalism came out there. And I'm concerned that this is, the term globalism has been, the narrative around that needs to be changed. I don't like the way they talk about it as, the one global economy, and that's terrible, and it's global enslavement, and that's not what. Yes, when capitalism is what's put first, absolutely, we're putting climate first.
We gotta fight capitalism, globalism, and replace it by climate globalism, if you want.
Yes,
this is exactly. But this can only happen on a global stage, and not with single countries doing something. Well, this leads nowhere.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I think that's kind of troubling to have this messaging going on in parallel. I think that a lot of the points that Roman did make during the interview were good points, and it's a shame that this is kind of like working against it.
It is.
And we purposefully left these questions of anti-EU and so forth out of that interview, which I do recommend people to watch, precisely because we didn't want to distract from the main idea of referendum and how direct democracy could work in different situations. But it to me, that I have to say that is also troubling. I am not into nationalism. I think that works against everything else that we're trying to achieve, and going back into the cocoon of tribal instinct is just strong. I wonder who the individual that's drawn as globalism is supposed to be. I'm wondering if anybody looked up to see what that is.
Well, see, I thought that looked like Macron, the rat Macron to me. But whatever, whether it's supposed to look like somebody or not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it should be, And I read here, Trisha Jäger says, I feel like the yellow vests are being infiltrated by right-wing nationalist fascists. It's coming to have critical movement to be infiltrated that way. That's absolutely right. And this is the normal political game, But in this case, we had someone as our guest who is proposing this nationalism, and he says he was studying this for years, and this is his answer. Well, I'm sorry, this is not convincing. Absolutely not. In contrary.
Yeah, I was displeased. But before we move on, I want to say real quick, thank you, Oz, for your donation, $12.24. Always some
Thank you,
Oz. 12 years to save humanity, or save, Oz, when I first read this, I thought it said 12 years to save Hannity, but either way, humanity. Oh, never mind, marry something. That's all, folks. Thank you, Oz. And what is it? Environmental Coffee House. How are you doing out there? Thank you so much for donation, $9.99 from Environmental Coffee House. Happy holidays and keep up the excellent work. Thank you so much. You too. We don't have much time left. Both of you are right on the mark with this. This looks just like something that I remember seeing from, World War II cartoons. Yeah. Racist cartoons in America. It's the same kind of thing.
It is clearly the same narrative behind this.
It really is.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. I think what I would like, we talked with Roman Light, very excited about the Yellow Vest movement, because my understanding was the movement does not have a leader, does not have a clear individual speaker. So Roman's just one member or one mediator, right? So I'd like to hear from others. If there's somebody who'd like to speak to us from the UK in the movement or in Germany in the movement, although I've heard they don't do that. But Trisha's right about the idea of an RIC, referendum initiated by the citizens having a national vote, which is where the nationalism is important right now, because we're not near the place where we can do a global vote, okay? But a national vote, which can be tallied, where the citizens say, this is what we want y'all to do it, or we're going to get out the torches and the pitchforks. That I get. Both right-wing people that we consider on that side of the realm, all the way up to Nazism, and left-wing, okay, think this is a good idea because they want the opportunity to have their voice heard directly, Now, if the AfD in Germany thinks they have enough power to put forth a referendum and get whatever, that's the danger of this, but that's what needs to happen. Right now, we have nothing happening. Right? But I'm with Markus, I'm with Amos. When you it's okay to have all the people come together regardless of your party affiliation, but if it goes to nationalism, if it's about we're going to isolate ourselves and go silo again while we fix our shit, instead of realizing that we all have the problem of the climate crisis. And I really wish the Yellow Vest movement would focus on that, because all of your other problems won't exist if we die. Right?
Exactly.
That's just the part I don't get. It's like we keep talking about all these other issues. I get that income inequality, bugs in here. Get that income inequality is horrible, and that's the primary reason people are in the streets. But if you're dead, you can't even enjoy being poor.
Not even that.
Hate to say it.
Yeah, it is. And this is why, in my opinion, for a real revolution, for a revolution over the borders, there must be some narrative. The only narrative of further political decision on any level should be the climate crisis, because this is the gun pointing directly at our head, and we cannot only do this together.
It is. It's so I'm interested in talking with other Yellow Vests people from other nations. Let's hear what you have to say. Let's see if there is some unity and purpose outside of being pissed, which we're all unified in that.
Yeah, and to make it clear, I refer to our guest Roman Light. I cannot judge how others are thinking in this movement, because there is no structure, no leader. I'm referring directly to Roman Light to make it clear.
Right.
Well, mentioning the Yellow Vests, that's a bit of information that came from France, and that's that the police has suggested they might join the Yellow Vests, and the reasoning was given as of like a economical one, that they were looking for a better pay, but I don't know if that's a narrative that's being pushed by the government or if that's coming from the police. I don't know if the solidarity is more political or more economical.
I think that I don't know. It's a good question. I'm glad. To me, right now, that's a good sign, but I don't know. I don't know France enough. I don't know. You two know more about European stuff. I don't know. I'll say this again. Those of you who have watched Bernie TV from the beginning, I know I said this years ago when we first started, and I didn't understand anything about politics. I was showing videos of French people protesting something else, something else that was actually insignificant, like the cost of tuition going up $2 or something, and they were burning shit in the streets, and it was like, oh my God! And they're like, how dare you raise our tuition $2? And I was like, this is what we need to be, America. We need to be this mad, And back then we went from that to let's try to use our democracy, and almost full circle on that. Anyway, I hope the Yellow Vest movement becomes unified around what we want it to be in terms of the narrative of globalism, right? Which is about us working together to save the species, not global banks.
This will make a revolution, yes.
Yeah. It's not about global banking, seriously, or global capitalism.
Fuck the capitalism. It's the enemy of the climate globalization. What we would like to have.
It is. And everybody, I see you in the audience right now. You're having a great conversation. I haven't done a good job monitoring chat. Thank you all for being here and making it worth our time to be here. It's just nice of you. There's 37 watching. Good to have
and I missed to answer a question coming from us about the Roman's point about that we are having lost our humanity. I don't think that nationalism is a good advisor for humanity. The past times did not present this exactly.
That's absolutely those two things don't go together.
Don't fit together.
Yeah. So that'd be a great thing. I'd like to have Roman back too and discuss that with him. But again, he's one member of this whole thing. So I'd like to talk to other countries or whatever. And when I'm out in Germany on February 14th, I'm hoping to be able to interview some people as a dumb American with a German friend, and we'll find out, what's going on over there. Talk to them.
In all fairness, Roman did indicates that whatever positions he may have on the EU or nationalism or whatever is his own opinions,
right.
And he was promoting the RIC idea just as on his mantle as a moderator for the Yellow Vest. So just to make that point.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I'm reading. You're right. I'm reading comments here. I'm sure I've said things wholly inappropriate or not right for winning the argument. That's not what I do. Yes. But yeah. And yes, you would like to have Roman back as well, Oz? Good. I agree. We'll find out more about what's going on. I hope it turns into something.
Let's go over to the Harry stuff.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. It's like we're running a long show, and this was supposed to be a short one because it's Christmas. And whatever you call it, whether you celebrate or not, Amos doesn't. He's doing Jew stuff. Markus is celebrating a weird-looking bunny, and Americans are doing their version of consumerism with whatever holiday and religious crap you want to attach to it. So enjoy. Basically, it's humanity's way of saying we're going to take a break and use it as an excuse to take a break, right? So remember your family and friends today because we have a climate crisis. We're going to move on to something a little more light, just for fun, because there seems to be historically a problem with Nazis and bad hair. And Stephen Miller is no exception. I mean, I don't know what was Nazi before Hitler, but Hitler had bad hair. Come on. All right. And at least we made fun of it in the 80s as a kid. And Trump, I think he beats Hitler for bad hair. Maybe not for the time, but it's me. Stephen Miller, another Nazi piece of shit. And while it's not funny to make fun of human beings that just have some, issues with their appearance,
he deserved it.
He deserved it because he's a Nazi piece of shit. Nazis deserve whatever. So this is the line on Stephen's hair. Back in August of 2017, that's what it looked like. Then all of a sudden, this was like last week, we had this replacement hair, and then we went back to the Picard look today, which you really should have stuck with the Picard look. But I do want to show you the many memes of Stephen Miller's hair. This I thought was beautiful because he did what he used was a spray-on hair, everybody. So you can spray on a squirrel. I like that. A shit emoji. That's just that was from Stephen Colbert. That's not even Stephen Miller. That's just somebody pretending to be, but they really outdid themselves. That's like a Stephen Miller 1970s Gerald Ford look or something, or maybe an Elvis look. I don't know. This is not even Stephen Miller either. I don't know if that's Ringo Starr or something, but it's part of the meme. But my favorite is Chris Christie, because he's always there. Chris Christie's always there. Anytime you need somebody inappropriate in the wrong place, Chris Christie's fat ass is going to be in that chair.
He's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. Yes,
nobody expects them, but they're there.
Nobody expects Chris Christie in the lounge chair. You got it. So
I think it's fine that Stephen Miller is growing new hair, as while we progressives grow new balls.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Pollution and radioactivity, no borders. What are you guys talking about? It's on his hair. Anyway, that was just for fun. Just thought I'd mention that. What else? Last week on UHM, we had this. This is Larry. This was good. Larry did this. If you haven't watched it, a teachable moment, the Lane County election. Larry talked about just how messed up it was in the Lane County Democrat. The chair of the Lane County Democrats is Chris Wigg, who's also the chair of the Rules Committee for the state-level Democratic Party of Oregon, and he's corrupt, in my view, and has done things wholly inappropriate as the chair of either the party and of the Rules Committee, and is one of the main reasons why we're not going to see any accomplishment out of the Democratic Party of Oregon. Him, along with the chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon, together made me realize we're just fighting people that are biding time, that think somehow they're going to be saved in this. They're part of the 1% club or something. So anyway, if you want to watch it and see how we are getting outplayed, and by we, I mean whatever progressive coalition is left or group. There is no coalition of progressives in Oregon. There's no coalition of progressives in the United States. Whatever progressives are left in this country, we don't understand political strategy. We're too nice. We don't understand just how we're getting screwed, how often we get screwed, and the people that are screwing us. As a matter of fact, we tend to like the people that are screwing us and defend them. And as long as we continue to do that, we'll have more of these shows like this from Larry showing us how we just got outplayed and screwed, and we won't do anything about it. But it was a good show, so watch it if you want. And we also had Roman Light, right, which is also a good show to learn about the Yellow Vest movement from one member's perspective, one mediator's perspective, but really gives you an idea of it has the potential to be the global movement we need it to be, but it's not starting off that way. You know what I mean? It's already going down the wrong path. So there's that. Music story time. Markus picked the song. It's the group Algiers. He and I had not heard of them. And it was a friend of his in Germany that turned us on to the band. I'd never heard either. I love discovering new music, or discovering music that is new to me, right? 'Cause it's not really new. But tying in with today and climate and Earth, it is 50 years after Earthrise, the famous photograph, bolstered the environmental movement. And I read this and just cringed, because I realized that this is part of the narrative that has doomed our species. That the environmental, it's a movement, right? That it's even political. That the care of the one place that is habitable for our species is even considered an option, is a failure of our species. There's no other species on this planet that directly destroys their own environment and then says, what's the problem? We took a picture from the moon of the Earth, and everybody went, oh my God, look at how small and insignificant we are on this little blue ball, and it's all we have, and there's nowhere else to go, and even if we could get there, we couldn't live there, but it's okay to continue to destroy it. That's the stupidity of the human race.
That's stupid.
We are so stupid. And that's going to be on, like, if the Earth becomes a grave for human species, which it is, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
And whatever other species rises to the top, the dolphins are underground. We're just waiting for them to go. Eventually they'll go, and they won't be diving in our ocean, and they'll be gone. Right? So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Again.
Thank you all so much for being here. You guys make it worth doing this. And Markus and Amos, thank you for putting the time in to actually make it a real show with content. Otherwise,
it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
What, Amos?
Thank you, I said.
Oh, yeah. And both Markus and Amos are actually connecting us with people to talk to. Laura Livengood is busy with family, and she's got a life. She's taking a break. But I just want to thank all three of them for doing what they have to legitimize this program, despite of my efforts, and bring on some good people to talk to. And we're working on somebody else who I would be great to have this person on the show, but I'm not going to confirm until we know it's really confirmed, and then I'll let you know when that's going to happen. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for continuing to support our efforts, and I hope you have a safe and happy, whatever you call the next 2 days of your life. And just remember to enjoy some moment of time if you're in a position to do so, because it could be all you have. You could be on a stage 1 minute playing a song and wiped out by a tsunami the next. Right?
Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates.
Yes. Thank you, Amos. Markus, you want to say something in German?
Fröhliche Weihnachten.
There you go. What does that mean?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, all right. Did you say that in German? You celebrate Christmas in Germany, but you celebrate it with a transient bunny.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
yes.
I got it. I just want to make sure.
It's completely strange. No, I'm not celebrating it. It goes back into the basement when I'm done with the show.
Bye, everybody.
I'm not that crazy.
Listen to Algiers. Irony, utility, pretext.